Good morning. So today's vlog, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how I would teach my patients to release areas of the body that are tight. I think that one of the things to say on this is if something's acute and really painful, you just need to go really gently. If you've got a bad back, don't put the tennis ball in there and try and mobilise it. Just be a little bit sensible. This is more for sort of biomechanical stiffness that runners accumulate all the time. We do the same thing over and over again, and areas get stiff and tight. That then causes injuries in other parts of the body. So I'm not trying to teach you how to treat an acute back. I'm trying to sort of just go through things that runners can use to help, or other people can just use just to help get their body a bit more mobile. Okay, so we've gone through the thorax a bit. We looked at the sort of foam roller on the thorax. If you go back to my working from home video, you'll find the thorax in there. So I think that's okay. So I wanted to look at more the sort of lower limbs today. And if we start off with the hips, so there's a few key areas that we want to mobilise around the hips. So I've got my two tools. I've got a ball and I've got a foam roller. So if we want to get into the lower back and the SI joint, I've found that the best way of doing this is just to use something not too hard. So don't use a hockey ball, don't use a cricket ball. Actually, tennis ball is quite nice, it's quite soft. So what I've been doing, a bit stiff into my SI joints, I just put the ball just behind me and I just start to just gently just mobilise over into those joints. The SI joints don't move particularly a lot. Depending on what you read, you know, they don't move at all. However, they can just be there can be a bit of torsion, or just a bit of a very, very gentle torsion on there from all the muscles around it. So start off at the bony bit, and then what you can do is you can move out a bit. So you're coming into the sort of the part of the glutes and the glute med, and you can just sort of see, and you see that? That's it. So I'm just going into that fleshy bit of my bum, really. Quite a lot of it at the moment, more than there probably should be, but hey. So that's how I would start into my SI joint. Then I can do a little bit of that into my lower back. And remember, yesterday you did these rotation stretches, and if you think, oh, that's not going, you know, my glute's really tight, I'm really tight into my lower back. That's when it's a nice time just to get the ball out and just think, right, okay, can I go into my lower back a little bit? You can go into the bottom of the lower back, into the main vertebra, and just literally all I'm doing is I'm just mobilising and I'm just pivoting, as I would on your back, just very gently over those joints. Okay? And because you're using something soft, it's not going to be a massive effect, but it can just be enough just to change things and just to give a little bit of movement. So the other way of getting into that glute, good old foam roller. So have your foam roller on an angle and just come over that joint and just, you know, oh, you think that's right, that's a spot, and just hold it. Hold it for a few seconds, just let that tension just release out, okay? And then if we start looking at the front of the hip, and you sort of think, oh, you know, sometimes when I do this stretch, I know not everybody can get into that position. So you're getting your hip round. I can't actually get into that hip. I can't get down that way, and it's really quite tight. So what you can do is, you know, you can just put your thumbs just into that hip joint a little bit. Just lean forward and just very, very gently, you can just mobilise it. What happens with our joints is they get stuck, okay? So in order for a joint to bend and straighten, it's got to slide and glide, okay? So lots of the things I'm giving you are trying to help that joint slide and glide. If a joint's not got its accessory movement, it can't give you its full physiological movement. So really, all we're trying to do is just open up the joints a little bit. So you can just get into the front of that hip joint, you can bend your knee up, you know, you can release it. You just think, oh, when I bend my knee up, that hip flexor is really tight. So why don't I just get my thumbs in there, just hold it, just lean forward a bit, just bring that hip up a bit and just think, that's quite a nice little stretch, nice release. And then you can go on, and then you can go back to your stretch and just think, okay, that feels much, much better. Another key way of getting into the TFL, top of the hip, is foam roller. Good old foam roller. I prefer the white ones. Black ones are really hard. You can use them if you want, but I find them a bit hard for me. So you want that fleshy bit, the TFL, which is the muscle at the top of your thigh, and you just want to just go in an angle and just hold it. And you'll feel, if it's a bit tight, you can just feel it aching a little bit down the outside of that leg. Now this pulls the IT band tight, this and the glute. So if you've got any problems with the outside of the knee, runner's knee, releasing the glute, the TFL, will really help release this IT band. I don't foam roller the IT band. Tell you why? Because it really hurts. And it's not meant to move. It's pulled tight by these areas that are at the top of it that pull it tight. So that's there are a few release things. Looking at different techniques for the back, for the hip, and for the sort of pelvis, and for the sort of TFL and glutes. I could go on and give you loads and loads, but I don't want to sort of fill your feed with loads of stuff. So I'm going to leave it at that today. We've focused on this whole pelvis area. Start off releasing that. Go through the stretches that we did yesterday. See what's tight. And think, oh, that side's a bit tighter. Have a little bit of a work. Just work around your hips a little bit. Just release some of those muscles that are tight. Just see if you can get the joints moving a little bit. And you're not going to hurt things just with a little bit of gentle work just around the soft tissues. And anybody's got any problems, just give me a shout. I'm very, very happy to sort of help with individual problems. And then tomorrow we'll focus more on the sort of lower limb, the calf, the foot and the ankle. But I think if we try and do it all in one go, you'll just be overwhelmed. Okay, see you tomorrow. Bye.